Ladies and gentlemen, please give a nice welcome to the mother of the late, great comedian, Bill Hicks, the lovely Mary Hicks, everyone. Thank you very much for being so gracious and so generous to come and visit with us here so we could take a look at Bill's shot on the program that never got on. And let me again, if I haven't previously, just apologize for the heartache and sadness that my decision caused you and your family. And of course, made all the worse by the knowledge that at the time Bill was terribly, terribly sick. And not many people knew that, did they?
Very few.
Very few, yeah.
And I appreciate you saying that.
And when the diagnosis, it was pancreatic cancer, is it true that he moved back into home with you folks?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And that must have been a wonderful time in an odd way, of course.
In an odd way it was. It was a privilege, and it was what I expected. You know, most people when they're sick want their mother.
Yeah. So
he came home. Of course, you know, he was continuing to go out on...
He was still working?
He worked until January.
Mm-hmm. And did you learn things about his life on the road as a comic that maybe a mother doesn't want to know?
Well, I found out.
Yeah.
And it should have curled my hair, but it didn't. And yes, he did try to tell me what he had been doing from the time he left home at 18. And some of it, you know, should have bothered me, but at that time it didn't, because I knew Bill, and he had come out of the bad part of the time that he had. Mm-hmm. So I listened, and no, and I would not have had him go through that if I had had my choice.
Did you know early on, did he know early on that he wanted to be a comic? I'll bet he knew maybe long before you knew.
Well, he knew a long time before I knew. He always said when he was, up until the time he got interested in comedy, that he was going to Texas A&M to be a vet.
Oh.
He loved animals, and that's what he wanted to do. And then he got interested in watching Johnny Carson, and he read books about Woody Allen, so he got interested in that. He said that he saw Johnny Carson on TV, and he thought, "Ooh, you mean you can make a living doing that?" So, he decided that's what he would do.
Yeah, yeah. And did he perform early? Could you, looking back, did you remember, oh, I see what he was doing. He was trying his comedy on the family or, parties or stuff?
Dave, there are no showbiz people in our family. Mm-hmm. So what he did, we just thought was our child doing that. We certainly didn't think it would go into a career. Not for a long time. But
where is your family from, by the way? We should mention that.
Well, that's hard to tell because we moved so much, but we lived for 12 years in Houston, which is where Bill went through school, and that's where he got into comedy, in Houston.
And was his early material, or maybe continuing, was it about family? Did you recognize jokes? Did you hear jokes about yourself?
Well, I didn't hear jokes about me for years, but I heard that he was telling jokes about me and the rest of the family. But, that's all he knew when he first started.
Sure, that's right. And would you go see him perform when he was starting working in clubs and other venues and stuff?
No. He said that if we came, he wouldn't go up. Mm-hmm. So I, of course, didn't know about comedy clubs, and I thought, well, how strange. If you're on the program, why don't you have to go up? So we didn't go. Mm-hmm. He asked us not to, so we didn't go. Yeah. And I will tell you something. He asked his dad and me to go see a musician that he admired. And so my husband said, well, Bill, can we have dinner there? And of course, Bill thought that was real funny because that was not the kind of place where they had served dinner.
Right.
But we went, and Bill did not go with us. He went with a group of friends. And my husband and I sat at this little table, and some young man came and sat at the next table to us by himself. And he kept looking at us, and finally he said, well, what are y'all doing here? Because we were the only old people in there. and we said, well, we came to see this musician. And I said, well, what are you doing here? And he said, well, he was a college student, and on his way home, he heard that this man was performing, and he liked him, so he just came straight there. But he couldn't understand why we were there. Mm-hmm. And then Bill came over and spoke to us. So, you know, I guess he realized why we were there. But anyway, Bill pulled things like that on us sometimes.
So do you remember anything about the musician you saw that night?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How was he?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What kind of music?
Well, can I tell his name?
Oh, sure. I think that would be useful.
His name is Eric. What is Eric's last name? Eric Johnson.
Oh, Eric Johnson.
He's very good.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever heard of him?
No. Paul? Eric Johnson?
Is he a surfer?
No.
Galveston,
Well, I mean,
on the Galveston coast of the Gulf of Mexico, Galveston?
He could, but I don't think so.
I thought so.
No, I think that...
How did you feel about coming here tonight? Was this an easy decision for you to make? I mean, I was... I thought.
Were you surprised that I accepted?
I believe I'm surprised when anybody comes here. No, wasn't surprised, but part of me thought, well, she has every reason not to come here.
That's right. I had a lot of reasons not to come, and I thought about it, and then I decided to come.
Good. I'm glad you're here, and again. I know I can't make up for the damage that was caused, but I hope symbolically this means something to you.
Well, it does.
Right.
And I will tell you that was a very hard time 15 years ago when that happened. And I just will have to tell you that it was.
Well, I'm well aware of that.
I know that.
I don't know personally how difficult it was, but I can certainly, now that I have a son, I can certainly imagine what that was.
You had to have a child to know.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, what else you want to know?
I'll tell you what we're going to do, Mary. When we come back, we're going to play the tape from October 1st, 1993. We'll be right back with Bill Hicks, everybody. Here we go. So this will be now October 1st, 1993. And I think it's safe to say that some of the references now, I mean 16 years ago, are not going to seem perhaps all that contemporary, but I bet it'll just be fine. Must have seen the videotape, right? This is not the first time you've seen it?
No.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it recently.
Yeah, and when you see it, you must be very happy and pleased to have seen it, and sad also, obviously.
Really? I mean, I'm all of that.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to take a look here tonight, and I want you folks to enjoy this, honestly. Here he is now doing stand-up comedy on this stage in a segment that I had taken out of our program October 1st, 1993. Here's the very funny Bill Hicks.
Thank you. Good evening. Very excited to be here tonight, and I got some great news today. I finally got my own TV show coming out as a replacement show this fall. Yeah. Thank you. It's not a talk show. Don't worry. It's a half-hour weekly show that I will host entitled Let's Hunt and Kill Billy Ray Cyrus. Thank you. It's fairly self-explanatory. Each week we let the hounds of hell loose. We chase that jarhead, no talent, cracker idiot all over the globe. Till I finally catch that fruity little ponytail of his, pull him to his knees, put a shotgun in his mouth. Then we'll be back in '94 with Let's Hunt and Kill Michael Bolton. Also look out for our Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer, Marky Mark Christmas special. And I don't want to give away any surprises, but Marky Mark's the first one we catch and kill on that show because his pants kept falling around his ankles and he couldn't run away. I crossbow him right in the ab. Bring the whole kids, the family, and everything. It's a Christmas spectacular. I don't know what my deal is. I'm like a 31-year-old curmudgeon. That's the deal. You know, I went to a dance club the other day, you know, and dragged against my will, you know. And this girl asked me to dance, which I thought was hilarious, you know. Would you like to dance? You know, I'm like, yeah, you read my mind, you know. That's why I'm leaning in the darkest corner closest to the exit, you know. I'm about to boogie. I'm about to cut a rug. But it's weird. Women have this weird myth. You can tell the way a guy is in bed by how he is on a dance floor. I think that's ridiculous. What does it matter? You know what I mean? If a guy is on a dance floor really getting into it, enjoying himself, expressing himself, what does it matter how he is in bed? He's gay. Real men don't dance. They sit, sweat, and curse. Speaking of homosexuality, you know, I consider myself fairly open-minded, but something has come to my attention I find absolutely shocking. I don't know if you've heard about it. These new grade school books for children to teach them gay lifestyles. You know what I'm talking about? One of them is called Heather's Two Mommies. The other is called Daddy's New Roommate. I'm going to have to draw the line here, folks, and say this is absolutely disgusting, okay? It is grotesque and evil. I'm talking about Daddy's New Roommate. Heather's Two Mommies is pretty cool. I don't know if you will check that out. They're hugging on page 7. Oh, go, mommies, go, go. Anyway. It makes me miss my youth. People annoy me. You know what's really annoying me? These pro-life people. You ever look at their faces? I'm pro-life. Boy, don't they look it. They just exude joie de vivre, you know? You see them trying to go to an orphanage and adopt a kid. We're pro-life. We're here to adopt. Kids are just, oh, don't pick me. Oh, no. I'll eat gruel, 15 to a bed, no problem. Just keep Heather's Two Mommies coming, and we're fine in here. I'm pro-life. You know, if you're really pro-life, do me a favor. Don't lock arms and block med clinics, okay? If you're so pro-life, do me a favor. Lock arms and block cemeteries, okay? Let's see how committed you are to this idea. She can't come in. She was 98. She was hit by a bus. There's options. Are we going to have her stuffed? What are we going to do with her? We're pro-life. That's the same look smokers give you, too. I'm a non-smoker. I'm a pro-life non-smoker. I'm getting that look a lot these days because I started smoking again, and I had 9 months without a cigarette, and I started again. And I'm getting that look. Are you applauding me starting or stopping? What are you? The smokers are, hey, you're back. Non-smokers, it's terrible. I can't believe he started again. Why? After 9 months. I have this belief. If that scenario is at all true when you die and you go to heaven and St. Peter meets you at the gate, I have this belief the first thing he's going to ask you is, you got a light? You mean y'all smoke here? Yeah, that's why it's heaven. These aren't clouds. This is cigarette smoke, pal. Hell is the non-smoking section. You want to look at them for a minute? Okay. I can't believe what they do to their bodies. It's so smelly. It smells like an ashtray. Why do they want me to smell that? God, that's hellish. Exactly. Light up and come on in. Hendrix is on harp tonight. So I've been traveling. I was in Australia. Over Easter, which was interesting to note. They celebrate Easter the same way we do, commemorating the death and resurrection of Jesus by telling our children a giant bunny rabbit left chocolate eggs in the night. I wonder why we're messed up as a race. Anybody got any clues? I've read the Bible. Can't find the word bunny or chocolate anywhere in the book. Why those two things? Why not, goldfish left Lincoln Logs in your sock drawer? Just making stuff up, go hog wild. But I think it's interesting to note how people act on religious beliefs. You know what I mean? Like a lot of Christians wear crosses around their necks. Nice sentiment. But do you think when Jesus comes back, he's really going to want to look at a cross? Ow. That may be why he hadn't shown up yet. He's going, man, they're still wearing crosses, Dad. I'm not going, no. They totally missed the point. I'm not going. Forget it. I'll go back as a bunny. But,
Just great.
Gave the quality.
He looks tremendous, and I've not seen that videotape or any part of it since that night, and seeing it now, it raises the question: what was the matter with me? What was I thinking? That was just tremendous. He if anything. It says a great deal about me. It says more about me as a guy than it says about Bill, because there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. Just perfect. And the fact that, and I expected it to be somewhat dated, being that old, man, it's not. It's just great. He, in fact, I guess this speaks to the suggestion that he was way ahead of his time. Mary, this has been a good night for me, and I hope a good night for you.
It's been a very good night.
God bless you.
Thank you
Nice
very
to
much.
see you. We'll be right back.